So guys, welcome. This is the Spyro music tier list. We've been asking for this video for a while and we're finally going to make it. Now, I'm not covering every Spyro game's music. I'm only covering Spyro 1 because that's the game I play the most. But in honor of the other Spyro games which have amazing soundtracks, I wanted to give a couple of honorable mentions before we hopped right into the tier list. So first of all, I got to give a shout out to this song right here. Listen closely. You can barely hear it in the background here. I might even turn it up a little bit. That's right, I'm talking about Autumn Plains. Now, this song, I'm just going to give a couple honorable mentions here, and I have to give a shout out to Autumn Plains and Winter Tundra as well, which you can hear. I'm going to skip forward through these a little bit. We're just going to be listening to these in like short bursts, skipping around. But we are going to have like a little listen to each song as we go through it. But as you can hear, it's just a really ambient song, ambient track. And it's really, to me, this song, as well as Winter Tundra, which I'll go ahead and play right here, are both really just unique songs to me. So, especially this, like, this is Winter Tundra here, and dude, it really makes you feel like you're like in another planet or something like that. It kind of makes me almost cry listening to it. It's really it's weirdly powerful for like an ambient sort of sample. Also, I found out recently that Stuart Copeland actually took some of these ambient samples from other, like it's like a Sony sound bank from like in the late 90s. So these were actually pre-licensed ambient things that Copeland adapted into Spyro. So you'll notice that that's like a trend with Spyro 2 and 3 is there's a lot more sampling from pre-licensed music that already exists. And you'll see an example of that in Spyro 1 as well. If anyone has the link to the original Lofty music that that level sound is based on, feel free to link it in the chat and I'll try to show that off. But yeah, I mean, what a great way to start a Spyro music soundtrack is just some relaxing Winter Tundra. Okay. And the other two honorable mentions I wanted to give here were from Spyro. Those were from Spyro 2. This one's from Spyro 3. This is Midday Gardens right here. Again, these aren't going on the tier list. These are just songs I wanted to shout out because I really like them personally. And if I tried to cover all three games, this tier list would go on forever. So, but I mean, just listen to that. Just the funkiness of it. This just gets you going. This gets you ready to fucking, you know, move around, talk to Bianca, you know, fuck around with money bags a little. This song just gets me like hyped up. It's funky as hell. I don't think there's a funkier song in Spyro than Midday Gardens. This is like a maximum like cat jam, exactly. Maximum funky. And then my final honorable mention here is going to be from not Spyro 1. Is this is Spyro Year of the Dragon Charmed Ridge. And this song for me, I really like because it gets you kind of it gets you excited. It gets you like kind of pumped. I love that it's like the 4 beats just over and over. I love this song. This song just gets me excited. And so yeah, I really like this one. I like the way it just builds up with that little beat. It builds up for those first like 10-20 seconds and you're just in jam mode. And at this point, you can totally just see yourself like flaming enemies and like crashing into shit. It gets the energy level up really nicely. Okay, so those were my honorable mentions from Spyro 2 and Spyro 3. If there are any Spyro 2 or 3 songs that you feel like I'm totally missing out on, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm totally curious what you guys think about this incoming tier list here. But let's get into the actual tier list. We're starting with, we're going in chronological order through all of the songs of Spyro 1. So, we're going to start, of course, with the title screen. I have a bass boosted version of this that would play on my stream sometimes, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I hear this song like all the freaking time. I mean, it's just, it gives me PTSD to listen to some of these songs, to be honest. I've speedrun Spyro so many times. And so whenever I hear that title screen music, it's just like, oh God, again? this song makes me think that, but no, it's a good song. You know, with my biased perspective aside, it's a nice song. It gets you excited, you know. It doesn't quite get me as amped up as Charmed Ridge, but it's got the energy there. So yeah, it makes you want to get into the game, which I like. So let's see where we're gonna put this on the tier list. I'll leave that playing in the meantime. So Artisans I'm thinking I'm gonna put this as like the middle point right here. I like this C tier. And again, I want to be really clear about the meaning of these various tiers here. None of these tiers are bad, okay? Like even D or F tier are not bad, okay? So if you see me put a song in C tier or D tier or F tier, it doesn't mean I don't like it or I think it's bad. I think all the songs in Spyro 1 are great. It's an amazing soundtrack. It's just comparatively to each other. So I'm gonna use this title screen music as like the baseline, you know, compared to other stuff, what I like and what I don't like. Okay, next song, we have the Artisans Homeworld right here. This is just classic. I just want to hear that intro one more time. Let's see how the drums go like. Something about the way that just like, it gets you like right into the game. It's like, oh, that drum like sort of fade in. It fades in literally visually with the game when that happens too. So it's like, here's the game right here. I love that, but it's not like too much right away. It like immediately is and it's just nice and chill, which is perfect for the Artisans Homeworld. As far as like the music matching the environment goes, this homeworld is you know, totally unassuming. First place that you go to, you know, no enemies hurt you at all. So I think this music is like really appropriate and doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not too much energy. This is a really good song. So I'm gonna put this at, where's Artisans? Oh wait, I did the wrong thing. I meant to put title screen right here, my bad. Artisans goes in B tier. I like, it could even go into A tier. I'm gonna put it in A tier for now. I might move stuff around later. Let's put Artisans A tier, because this song is just, it's quite a classic. Stone Hill is up next here. Now, interestingly, it has that same little drum fill, like, and you know what? I never thought about this, but the music in Stone Hill and the music in the Artisans Homeworld is actually pretty similar. And that makes sense considering they're both really like green, grassy, sunny areas of the game. But for me personally, Stone Hill isn't like my favorite level. In fact, I find it to be a little too big and empty personally. But I do think the music is really appropriate here. But I will say it's not particularly memorable for me. So I'm gonna put this actually underneath the baseline here at around D tier. Again, anything I put under C tier, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not my preference, like compared to how good some of the other songs are. Okay, next one. But it's nice. It's really relaxed. I love that in Artisans Homeworld and Stone Hill, the music is very relaxing, you know? It's not too much. Sunny Flight. We're on to Sunny Flight here, so again, I'm looking at this again as like a PTSD, you know, speedrunner. This is the first level that you do in 120%, and one thing I like about this music is that it really feels like a time trials music. It's like, all right, here we are going through the motions, you know, and you hear like, especially as the timer gets down, it's like ding, ding, ding. When you explode, the way the sound design works with this song, especially considering that the flight levels are a time trial, I think this music is really appropriate for that. It's like sort of, it's forward pushing, but it's not too energetic. It's very much like in that middle zone energy wise, which is like what you want to be in like the first flying level. It feels like a true time trials music is how I would put it. Very appropriate, but because I hate Sunny Flight so much, I'm gonna put it down to D tier. Fuck it. Fuck you, Sunny Flight. All right, next one, Dark Hollow. Get canceled. Now, okay, guys, Dark Hollow, are you serious? This song is amazing. This is the best song in like the whole freaking game, basically, almost. I mean, just hearing that, this is one of those songs that just like I was saying with like Winter Tundra earlier, this one really sends shivers down your spine. If you grew up with this game at all, this is like the one that, I don't know, this is just the one that really hits like the nostalgia. I just like the soft like keyboard, the bass line sneaking in, the drums are strong, but they're just in the background. And yeah, it's like you're on this like adventure through this like dark, you know, it's like a dark but lit up area. I don't even know how to describe it, but the music in this level really hits hard for me. So this is definitely going to be S tier for sure. Bop. I love how angular the melody is. It's kind of hard to count it exactly right. In fact, the melody, someone was asking about like music majors in here. If you want to get like a little like musical theory about it, I think the melody is constructed on like the concept of duplets. You know, bum bum, 1 2 3 4 1 2. You know, it's like those are groups of 2 with the notes, but it's used over like a triplet subdivision. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So the duplet inspired melody placed inside of the triplets make it a really cool syncopated melody, I think. Okay, what's the next song? Yeah, not to be confused with a 3/2 polyrhythm, which is something different. Okay, so this is Town Square right here. So Town Square. This is, I think, the first like real energetic song of the game. This is like the first point in the game where there's like a bunch of stuff happening. You know, you hear the bulls in the background, you know, fucking grabbing gems and blowing up dragons and shit. This is like the first part of the game where I think the energy really kicks up a little bit, and I think it's appropriate. This level is pretty small, but it has a lot of stuff inside of it. So you're gonna hear me say this a lot. I think this song is really appropriate for the level. But overall, this song on its own is not something that I would listen to on my own time, really. You know, it really, to me, this song doesn't do a lot for me without the context of the level and the context of the game. So for that, I'm gonna put it under the mid-range here, in the D tier. You know, this isn't one that I would listen to on my own time. But it's a great song. Also, I'm gonna make my webcam just a bit bigger so you guys can see me better. So yeah. Next up we have, this is Toasty. And interestingly, Toasty actually shares the same music with Nork Cove. So Toasty and Nork Cove, same music. Let me see if I can find it here. Just hear it for a moment. This one is definitely a change of pace too, because it, if you watch the original PlayStation Magazine interview with Stuart Copeland, he talked about how he actually got together with some like Philharmonic orchestra to record some of the samples for this game. And this is one of those songs that uses a lot of the orchestral samples. You could hear like the actual like orchestral chimes and, you know, all these sort of noises. Those were actually made with real instruments from what I understand. And so it's cool that it's like you have all these sort of MIDI, sort of like cheap 90s sounding samples from the other tracks in this game, but this song takes a real change of pace. When that organ comes in, it's like, all right, now we're kicking into high gear, but it's really foreboding, and I love that. It's like you're on some final boss shit here. So it's really cool that they put this as the boss level for Artisans, which by the way is not an easy level by any stretch comparatively. As well as the music for Nasty's Homeworld, I think it's really it's just very foreboding, which I think thematically is very appropriate. And then it finally kicks in. Oh, just for that beat drop, I gotta put this in like A tier. I was gonna put it in like C or B tier, but I gotta put this in like A tier, almost S tier. This is almost S tier, just for that beat drop. It's a fucking banger. All right, next up we got the Peacekeepers Homeworld. Yeah, the drop is nasty as hell. Okay, now a lot of people don't like the Peacekeepers Homeworld music, but I like it. I like it. Thematic wise, you know, you're in like this place with a bunch of like soldiers and stuff. They're wearing like Civil War outfits and stuff. So you have like the rolling drums. And then you start thinking like, what is this, you know? And you're thinking, what? Who cares? Who cares? And then the bass line. Dude, when that bass line kicks in, it totally kicks this song up like a notch by like a million. A lot of people say that one of the coolest things about Spyro's music is the bass lines. And this song is 100% saved by the bass line, 100%. I think without that boom ba doom doom doo doo, without that, this song is nothing. But because it has that, this song gets bumped up to, I'm gonna put this in like B tier. If it didn't have the bass line, this would be like D or F tier, but since it has that fucking nice bass line, it gets that B tier. This has got like a deep dick bass, and I love it. All right, moving on. Dry Canyon. Now, setting-wise, you know, Dry Canyon isn't a huge departure from the Peacekeepers Homeworld. They're both very, like, brown, tan, open environment layout. I love, you know, a kind of reoccurring theme in Spyro 1's soundtrack is the organ on 2 and 4. Which is like a really simple thing, but I don't know, the way it sounds in this particular game, in the context of everything else, it actually adds a lot of like rhythmic integrity to everything. I think without that, I think to some people it may sound a little cheesy, a little whatever, but I think it actually adds a lot of like, I don't know, re-listenability. It just adds a flavor to it that I really like, that little organ. The rest of this song is all almost like kind of subdued in the background. Another thing I want to point out is, see how the chord just changed right there? That's another reoccurring theme in Spyro's music, is that it goes from, and again, this is something Stuart Copeland showed off in his PlayStation Magazine interview. This was from an era where DAWs and sequencers, these are like programs that people use to make music. This is from an era where people were just really starting to get their hands on them and start to get their feet wet with them. And one cool thing that you can do in digital audio software is you can take everything in a song, you can like highlight everything and just transpose it up a few notes. And so Stuart Copeland does that in his PlayStation interview, and he's like, he literally says to the guy, he's like, look, this is the shit that's gonna make Mozart, Beethoven roll over in their grave. Boom, and then it goes like, it's just like, whoa, you know. It's so simple, you know, it's just 1 chords and 4 chords if you're looking at it functionally, but you know, it goes a long way to making the music not feel stagnant. You know, you get so comfy in this one, like, you know, mono chord, you know, this basic chord, and then it finally kicks up to the 4 chord after like a minute. And then it's like, okay, now, all right, now the song's interesting again, kind of, you know. Overall, I give this song a C. I give this right in the middle. I'll put that right in the middle. It has redeeming factors, but it's not really my most, a very memorable one. It's right in the middle for me. All right, here we are at Clifftown. Now this one has like all of the kind of hallmarks that Dry Canyon had. See, it's got the keyboard on 2. Same thing with the melody. Also, I was talking about in Dark Hollow, the melody in that song has a very angular, syncopated feel. That's a very similar thing with the melody in this song. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that's like what the melody is. But then if you listen to the beginning of the song, it feels like a halftime of that. So those are like triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But then when the melody comes in, hopefully I'm in time with the song here. I don't know if the delay's off. It's crazy how the melody totally shifts like your mental perception of what we call the meter, which is how you like divide up the rhythm of a song. So I love that this song really throws you off like that. Super syncopated like that. It makes it a fun like listening experience every time you listen back to it, because it's like, wait a minute, does the song like change tempos there? Or, no, it doesn't. It's what's called like a metric modulation almost. It's really cool. So yeah, I personally think Clifftown is like is kind of a beefed up version of like the things that Dry Canyon does right. Clifftown does right, and then some, like taking inspiration from the Dark Hollow melody, sort of disjointed from the actual like meter of the song. I love that. It adds a lot of intrigue. Again, I play this game for, you know, thousands and thousands of times. So anything that adds a little bit of like re-listenability, intrigue, like the way the melody functions like that, I think it goes a super, super long way for me. What's the next song? We have Ice Cavern. Now here we have some more of those orchestral samples here, right? Again, Copeland showing this off in his PlayStation Magazine interview. By the way, I'm going to link that down below in the description just so you guys can, if you haven't seen it already. It literally shows Copeland like with the exact samples, like camera looking at his like computer and him explaining it. And yeah, that's one. Those are I think also orchestral samples that he took, and they add a real cool flavor to it. I think they make the soundtrack feel less like just like a big clusterfuck of MIDI instruments like other games from this era. I mean, we're talking like Banjo-Kazooie, think like Mario 64. You know, those games were all MIDI instruments. Those were all like just computer generated sounds, and very early simplistic computer generated sounds for that matter. But you know, the fact that Stuart Copeland went the extra mile to add in those little it makes Ice Cavern it makes the level feel cold and chilly, you know? It totally has that effect for me, and I like that. But the actual mix of the song is pretty subdued, pretty bassy. But I like that he layers on and this is like another common thing, he's really layering on each texture, you know, one at a time. And this song really does that. And I think that was the loop right there. I like Ice, what is this level called? Ice Cavern. Icy fuck. I like this one. I'm gonna put this in A or B tier. I'm gonna go A tier. I like Ice Cavern. Yeah, definitely a groove and bass line. Definitely deserves A tier. Now here's Night Flight. This is a fucking banger. God, I love this song. Every time we get to this level on my runs, I always tell everybody in my stream to twerk because it's so satisfying. Like, it's a banger. You know, you're flying through all these rings and shit. You just got out of the first homeworld. You really feel like you're starting to dig into the game at this point. I don't even know how to put my finger on that feeling, but there's a point in every game, like after the first homeworld, you know, after the first, you know, 10, 20 minutes, where it's like, okay, this is where the game really starts. And this song, coupled with this level and just getting out of the first homeworld, it really hits all those like, it's really satisfying. All of those things together. So yeah, I'm gonna put this song in S tier. I really like it. It wouldn't feel that way if it weren't for the music. I love like the chimes in the background here. Where are the where is it? Anyone see it? Night Flight. Goes in S tier. You'll notice that my S tiers are both night themed levels. We'll see if that continues. Yeah, I think, and think about also texture-wise, like someone said in the chat just now, very magical sounding. And I think a lot of that has to do with like the sort of chimes or percussion instruments he's choosing. In this song, he uses like a triangle. He uses like 2 or 3 different chime noises. So yeah, there's a lot of like really shimmering, you know, bells you could hear, like sort of, you could say. And I love the triangle, tick ding, tick ding, tick ding. It like really, it puts you in that time trial sort of headspace that I was mentioning earlier with Sunny Flight. Really like Night Flight. Okay, Dr. Shemp. Alright, here it is. So Dr. Shemp. I love that. That is just, that is so, I never pay attention to that part, but like again, just hearing that little part like come in, like it just sounds normal right here at the beginning. I love that. I can't even describe. That really adds so, and it's before the beat kicks in also. Oh, this is also a weird beat also. 1, 2, and 4. Yeah, it's super not like a traditional backbeat at all. It's like very much like offbeat. This is like an offbeat sort of song. Yeah, and just those little like shimmering, that shimmering sample, I don't even know what that is. That's like my favorite part of the whole song. Right here. Wait. That just gets me excited hearing that part come in. So yeah, I really like this song. I never really, you know what's funny is with this song, I never really thought about it a lot. You know, when I play this level, when I'm playing this game, I don't think about how much of a banger this song is, but upon kind of deconstructing it a little bit, this song has a lot of really cool shit to it. Definitely a really unique track. Okay, and now we're in Magic Crafters. And you can tell right away, this is the feel change when we get into Magic Crafters. We have more like the twangy, listen here to this melody. It really gives you this feeling that like you're dealing with like these eclectic, weird, magical beings that like, you don't really know what the fuck their deal is. You're like in this world where you could get zapped with like a fucking spell if you're not careful, you know? And that melody, the it really like hits those sorts of like random magical like sort of things. Now this is another one of those songs where my favorite part is my favorite part is coming up here, and we are like, how far are we into this track? We're not even a minute in yet. Right here. This is where the song is tight. And it took a whole minute to get there. I love that. I love that it took so long to get up to that like climax. And now it loops. This is a true like, you know, through composed, you could say, like it just starts low, it gets more and more and more and more until it's like love this song. Love this song. And I love this Homeworld too. I'm not gonna put it in S tier, but it almost gets S tier. There's gonna be a lot of A tiers here, I can feel. Where is it? Magic Crafters. I almost want to put this in S tier, but it doesn't really quite, it's not quite S tier. It's not quite S tier, but it's definitely A tier, at least. I love Magic Crafters. Alpine Ridge. So this is the first level in Magic Crafters. This is very much like, you know, this is one of the first levels where you're dealing with like a lot of voids all around you. Where it's like, you miss a jump, you're falling in a void, you know? And like, you kind of hear the yellow guys like roar in the background. You know, the fucking wizards, wow, wow, wow. We have a lot of different opinions of where this one should be. D, C, and A. I really put this as like a middle of the way song. You know, it's not really doing anything too unique, nothing too different, but it works.
My dick fell off.
Thank you, Michael. I'm gonna put this at C. It's a classic C for me. Now here's an alternate version of Alpine Ridge if you stand in the level for 10 plus minutes. This can also play on other levels depending on your disc and stuff like that. I love that it's slowed down. Oh, hold on, right here. It's so slow. It's like unsettlingly slow, but it's nice. If you can settle into this, that's actually a common thing with the alternate songs in this game, is that they're just kind of slowed down versions of other songs, sort of, with other, you know, instruments put in and whatnot. And it's like, it almost feels weird to hear the music this slow, but when you settle into it, it's like, oh, okay, like, all right, now we're grooving. You know what I mean? If you can just sit back and settle into it and not want it to be more energetic, then these alternate tracks are just fucking banging. Obviously, I don't have a tier thing for the alternate tracks, but if I were to put this somewhere, I'd probably put this like in like B tier. I'd put this one in like B. I like it. B almost A. All right, next level. This is High Caves. I don't even want to say anything. You guys know I love this song. I made a whole cover version of this song on my channel. You can check it out. Maybe I'll link it up there. It's got the bass line. It's building up. I like the little... I never really paid attention to those, but in the background... You can hear it. And then this is just it. This is like this is the melody. And the way it just sounds on like that soft keyboard. This is like true genius melody right here. The rhythm never changes. 1 and 2 and the dotted quarter, the whole melody. But the way it dances across the fucking dominant, or dances across the dominant scale, it's so angular, makes so many jumps. But man, when I learned how to play this on vibraphone, it's like, I just couldn't unhear it. You know, you can't unhear it. You don't want to not play it over everything. It's one of those sorts of melodies that this melody from this song is like the biggest stroke of genius I think Stuart Copeland ever imparted into the Spyro series, was the melody from this song. So for that reason, I'm putting it into S tier. Where is it? High case. And yeah, if you want to hear me playing this in all 12 keys, check out my channel. I have a video of it. It's called Space Caves. Aha. Now here's another alternate one. This is a PAL one. You hear that in the background? It almost reminds me of like you know, some Latino, you know, cascara type shit. Really nice percussive energy on this song. Really forward driving. I never listened this far into this one. Again, this song only plays on the PAL version, or at least it's supposed to only play on the PAL version. Oh, the beat. Oh my god, I didn't even know about that beat. You can hear some like clipping from whoever recorded this. Wow, that was cool. I like that. I like that. That song, right when you're about to be bored of this song, it kind of brings you back in, which I love. Yeah, it changes the beat a lot. I really appreciate when music does that. That it's not just the same beat for like 5 minutes. It's like it's changing, like right here. Way different than before. Oh yeah, there's no tier for this, so yeah. But if I were to give this a tier, I'd give this A tier probably. This is really good. I like this. B or A. Now this is another PAL alternate track. This one you can get on the NTSC version, I think. I think I've heard this one on the NTSC version. This is basically like a slowed down version of the one we just saw. Again, this is another secret track. To those who don't know, you can hear these tracks if you stand in a level without dying for around 10 to 15 minutes. And it only works on certain levels, and it'll vary sometimes which levels do it and which songs they give you and not, because the way the PlayStation disc like handles the music is really janky, so it doesn't always work like it's supposed to. Again, the offbeat keyboard, this really does it for me in this game. It's like I'm listening for the snare drum, but it doesn't come. You know, it's like he's holding back. He's not like gonna give it to you yet. You'd think in that last part that he's like gonna give you the full beat. No. Okay, so that one's another B or A tier, somewhere in between that. Okay, back to the actual list here. These are back to the original songs. We're in Crystal Flight now. This is the flight level in Magic Crafters. And again, I'm going to say this about every flight level. The way the music functions in these flight levels really does a good job of making it feel like a time trial. Like the beat is energetic enough, but not so fast. This is like approaching almost too fast, but the beat is energetic and forward driving enough that it makes you feel like you need to drive forward when you're flying. Like, okay, we're moving. We gotta hit this. We gotta flame that. We gotta, and then you flame too early and you miss some shit. You're like, oh fuck, you gotta restart the level. I love this little interlude here. There's definitely a few like little beatless interludes, like here. It's so simple. It's so simple, guys. It's a very like chill interlude. It's not something that's like you're gonna like take apart like as a dissertation. Oh, this is like some craziness, you know. But it's nice to have a little interlude like that. Interlude, especially when the beat is so like driving like that. Also, I'll point out that last part of the song right there is easily my favorite part, and it's an extended it creates an extended phrase. I'll explain what I mean. So after this interlude here, this is back to the interlude part. 2, 2, 3, and then it loops right there. So Stuart Copeland totally did not have to put that part in there. He totally did not have to put in the bip boot at but that's in Stonehill as well. And those 2 bars at the very end of both Crystal Flight and Stonehill's loop are just what make the fucking song for me. That's the shit where I'll be like bobbing my head in my fucking... And then it starts over again. Then you can like focus again. Those interludes make the fucking songs for me. What is this? Crystal Flight. I'm gonna put it at I'll put it at B. I'll put it at B. It's not like, again, this is when I think like A or S tier, I'm thinking these are songs that I would listen to like outside of the game, that stand alone, you know, that's how cool they are. But you know, B and C, these are songs that are like good, but like kind of more like a baseline of what you like expect from the series. And D and F is like, you know, they're still good, but you know, just a little less than what I would listen to at all, really. But they're all good. They're all good. So don't take D and F as I might not even put anything in F tier. All right, next song. Amanda Show, dude. Amanda Show. The keyboard, man. Any one of these songs that has a keyboard melody is just an instant classic. Bass line, super driving. And it's the bass line is actually copied by an organ, which is pretty cool. You can still hear that 2 and 4 from the organ in the background. But it's really all comes down to that keyboard melody. That's really what it is. Sneaks in with the distorted guitar. That's another sort of layer that Stuart Copeland uses in these songs is the distorted guitar, which, you know, it's not a real distorted guitar. It's a keyboard MIDI guitar, but you know, so it's like this cheap like ging, ging, but it creates this really unique sound because, you know, it's not the same sound you could get from a normal distorted guitar. And he uses the distorted, it's easy to overuse the fake distorted guitar, but in this song, it's used very tastefully, like not too much at all. This song is all organ and keyboard, and those are like my favorite, like sort of textures. So I just love the way this song is. Also, the other thing I wanted to point out about this song is the way it starts. Listen to the keyboard here right at the start. That's something about that plays right as you're flying into the level. So in a way, it's kind of like it mimics Spyro flying in, boom, and then you're playing. I love that. Same thing how I was saying with like the drum roll in Artisans Homeworld. Ding, 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 ding. Those little like fills or starting whatever you want to call it. Those are really cool. Those add a lot to the music, especially in the context of playing a game. You know, it's so nice to have a little fill like that. Instead of just the music just starting, you know, it's like, all right, hold on, let me have a boom, it really gets you into it. Just a little couple beats of something. So Wizard Peak, I'm gonna put this at God, I almost want to give it S tier. I really almost want to give it S tier. Oh, I almost want to give it S tier. Just because I love the way the keyboard sounds so much. Wizard Peak is gonna have to get an S tier, just because I'm a simp for the the keyboard sound in this game is just I'll explain that a little bit more. Like, it's the whole mix of all the different instruments. He didn't use too much of the electric guitar. He used the right amount of all of my favorite instruments on this like sound palette. That's my favorite part about Wizard Peak, is like the sound palette was used like very effectively, I think, for that song. Here's an alternate theme of Wizard Peak. And again, it's just like a slowed down version, but it kind of has a different vibe, more subdued, right? I will say the actual like melody, like the doo-dee, 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 it doesn't really work as well at the slower tempo. I would have liked for it to be like a different, you know, melody sort of thing, but the actual bass line, and then when the beat kicks in. I love these beats that have like really low drums. This is one of those beats that has like a low drum backbeat. Instead of a not that. That's two totally different flavors right there. They're both a backbeat, but one is just like this like piercing, you know, you expect it like rock and roll, and the other one's like this like deep, like almost like tribal, you know. It's like it's really cool. I just like just the pitch of the snare there, you know, or whatever drum you want to call on the backbeat there. Really cool. I like this part. So that's cool. That's A or S tier as well. I'm gonna put that like A tier if I were to put it somewhere. Okay, next level. We're at Blowhard. Yeah, Stuart Copeland definitely fucks to that last one for sure. Yeah, God, the beat kicks in so right there. If there's one thing Stuart Copeland knows how to do, and maybe it's because he's a drummer or whatever, but he knows the perfect time to kick the beat in. He knows the perfect time. How many games do you play that have like a looping sound, that have like a looping tracks in them, that really know how to drop the beat correctly? Because a lot of games, you know, they'll start right out the gate with whatever beat it is, and it'll just loop that indefinitely. And maybe there'll be stops and starts, but pretty much all the songs we've heard so far, they'll start with something. So you're hearing this, you're like, okay, you know, this is all right. Whatever. You know, you're thinking like whatever when you hear this, right? It's like starting to build up a little, but it's nothing that special at this point. Then the beat kicks in. And then it just all feels right. It all feels perfect at this point. And the beat isn't too much either. Yeah, this music really, when I hear this music, I really think of like the rain cloud that is Blowhard. He's a literal like rain cloud, hurricane hat, he's called in Japanese. So when I hear this song, I think of you know when it rains outside, but you can see the sun still kind of peeks through the clouds a little bit. It's like a sunny, rainy day when I hear this song. It's like fucking around with your friends on a sunny, rainy day, and just not being afraid of the rain at all. So I'm gonna put this in. I'll put this in B. I'll put that in B. I could even go down to C with that, but I'll put it in B. Okay, what's the next song? Here's another. I didn't even know there was an alternate Blowhard. Let's see what this one is. Hey, is this kind of quiet for any of you guys? Turn it up a bit. Wow, I've never heard this one. I'll turn it down back a little bit. It was just quiet to start. Wow, I like that keyboard patch. I think he mixed like MIDI vocals with it, like so like the fucking fake, you know, choir. He probably mixed that with like an organ or something. I love how that sounds. Just that keyboard. Never heard this one. Ooh, a different kind of beat. Oh, I love what he did with the snare drum there. Very like, almost like second line sort of, kind of like New Orleans-y kind of snare drum there. Wow, that's an interesting track. That's an interesting track. I would put that one in like B or A tier. I never heard that. I've been playing this game for like years and years and years. I've never heard that song. I did not know there were this many alternate tracks in the game. I've heard a few of the alternate tracks just hanging out in levels and stuff, but I had never heard that one. All right, next level. Okay, we're on to the Beastmaker's Homeworld here. And just to kind of put you guys in the environment here, you know, you're in a swampy, dark, murky, you know, vomit green, poop brown sort of color palette. You got all sorts of electrified enemies, like, you know, talking to these dragons are like, welcome to the swamp. But I dig the Homeworld music, I gotta say. I like the, I don't know if they're like strings or whatever, but dum dum, like all these little like in the background. And then of course the beat kicks in. Just like how I was saying with Blowhard, it's that same sort of thing with the beat kicking in at just the right moment. But I want to talk about this section before the beat kicks in here. I like that, especially at the beginning, you can hear like some like, almost it sounds like owls or something in the background. You know, it's almost, it sounds like there's like wildlife in the background of this soundtrack. You know what I'm talking about? Whoa, that noise? What is that? I love that. It adds so much life to the Beastmaker's Homeworld. It's like there's like some like weird animal in the background here. Oh, it's you, Axo. Yeah. I like that. I'm gonna put Beastmakers at, just because it has like some really cool world building elements to it, I'm gonna put it in B. I would put it in C, but I'm gonna put it in B, especially because it kicks in with the beat good. So I'm gonna leave that at B. Oh, and that organ. You know I love that organ. All right, now here's another alternate. Dude, I did not know there were this many alternate songs. Yeah, I've never heard this one. Wow. And yeah, again, it's just a slowed down version, but he has like a lot of cool, like little percussive little extra tambourine on it. Oh, and he's using the nostalgia keyboard. I'm gonna call that one the nostalgia keyboard. The one you hear in fucking Wizard Peak and Dark Hollow. That's the nostalgia keyboard. That's what it's called now. I hear you guys. This one isn't as good, I would say, as the original Beastmaker's Homeworld, but I love what he did with the percussion to help add some, like, you know, little like. He added some cool little flavors with the tambourine there, which I appreciate. I'm gonna skip forward. Oh, what is this melody? Hold on, I want to hear this melody. This is something totally different. Okay, so it's not different actually. What that is. That's from another level. What level is that one from? That's the slowed down version of that melody. If someone knows what that is, let me know. Yeah, Wizard Peak. Yeah, this is Wizard Peak. The Wizard Peak melody, pardon me. Because listen. Hold on, it's back here. It's right here. There it is. This one. It's this exact melody. This is Wizard Peak. Okay, and now here's the Peacemakers Homeworld. Alternate track. There it is. Yeah, wow, that was a tough catch right there, but yeah, that is the same thing. It sounds way different at that speed though. This is like one of the, usually you can catch when it's one of the same melodies just slowed down, but this one was slowed down so much. It felt like I was like, whoa, it almost felt like an entirely new thing. Okay, next song. Oh, and where would I put that one? I don't know, I'll put that one on like D. That one's kind of not that memorable. Okay, Terrace Village. Love the way that starts, dude. What is with these fills? They're so iconic. The way these songs start is just iconic. It just gets you right into the level in such a good way. What is it about? Boom. It just hits you perfectly. Just the way that sounds is just like... So there you go. And it doesn't sound anything like the rest of the song either. That's like the funny thing about it. You don't even hear, you almost don't even hear the snare drum in the background. This is definitely an electric guitar heavy one. Which I think is appropriate, you know, given this is like really where it starts to be like difficult levels, difficult enemy layouts, you know, really punishing stuff. The electric guitar kind of makes it feel like visceral like that. Makes it feel like, all right, you're about to take on some badass motherfuckers here. You better watch the fuck out. As for the actual like melody of this song, it's not very memorable for me, I gotta say. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Kind of like But I think this is meant to be more of like kind of getting a groove established. But yeah, man, all that percussion in the background. Listening to these songs separately, it really makes me appreciate the little percussive things he has going on in the background. And that song, he has a lot of cool, like little in the background, which I really like. Especially, and again, the best part of the song, right fucking here. That was the best part of the song right there. That's my. Do you guys feel me? Is anyone with me on that? Those little intros are just like, they're just. That's what makes a lot of these songs to me. I'm gonna put Terrace Village at let's put this. I'm gonna do this is my first F tier, just because it's not very memorable, the melody. I'm gonna put this one in F tier. I mean, I might as well put it. D and F are like the same tier as far as I'm concerned. They're just like not particularly memorable, but not bad. Okay, next song, Misty Bog. Now, when you think of the 2 and 4 with the organ, you think of this song. 2, 4, 2, 4. Da, 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 da. This is the perfect speed for this melody. Da, 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 da. Not too fast, not too slow. This song is really carried by that organ backbeat. In a lot of ways, the keyboard playing the backbeat, that is the it supplements the drums having to do that. So in this song, it feels like there's a beat to it, but really it's the organ providing that. With just like little percussive like in the background. It's a really cool way to layer a percussive sound without using just percussion instruments. Yeah, got some of the low drums there. I will say this song does use a lot of percussion instruments, but as far as creating a beat, a backbeat goes, it's all the organ that does that. I think that layering is really cool. I love this like little part with the keyboard. Little chimes, you know. Those instruments are just chef's kiss. Okay, where are we gonna rate this one? I'm thinking. The more I listen to this, the more I like it, honestly. Right back down to the bass line. It has all of the layers that I love about this game's soundtrack. Every layer is like nice. It has like the big guitar, it has the subdued bass part, it has like the backbeat organ, it's got the cute keyboard. It has everything. This song is like a little bit of everything. It doesn't nail any one thing, but it hits a little bit of every quality of the music in this game, which I like. I'm putting it in B tier. All right, next up we got Treetops. Hey, thanks, Wasabi Knight. Dude, Treetops is a fucking classic. Let's give this a moment. And again, another like example of a level that has a weird, like, I don't know if it's a sample, but it has something that sounds like an animal in it. You hear that? Listen closely. Can you hear it? Oh, yeah, it makes you feel like there's like crickets or something like that around you. Still building. Now here's the best part right here. Same melody as before, by the way. Same melody as High Caves. I just want to talk, since we're hearing that melody again, and I love it so much, I just want to talk about why that melody is so perfect. It builds. It's a perfect crescendo of a melody, right? In music, we use terms called crescendos and decrescendos, which refer to how loud something becomes and how quiet it returns to. And that melody, the boom, bum, bum, boom, bum, bum, it not only does it like volume-wise make it feel like a crescendo, but the actual direction of the notes and the intervals between them grow bigger and smaller together. The whole melody breathes as a large intervallic jump, and then a small one, and then a large one, and then a small one. So it feels really disjointed, but it just hits the right notes so that it makes it feel like a big crescendo, and then bum, boom, bum, ba. It's like it tells a whole story. A good melody tells a whole story. And that melody is like my favorite story, one of my favorite stories I've ever heard in like 8 bars, you know? I just want to hear it one more time. It's gonna come back in a moment. And again, this is the same melody from High Caves that I love so much. Give it a moment. But I also really like this back. Yeah, I think it's really appropriate for being at the top of the trees, you know, for being like among all these crazy monkey, you know, it adds a lot of life to the level, hearing all those like little background little. I love it. Here we go. Pay attention. The beat comes in here as well. That fucking note, boom, boom, boom. That fucking part of it right there, that's the climax of it. And then it's bringing it back down. So the actual direction of the notes matches the emotion that's conveyed. I love that. Every interval and every note choice like fits into a story of like, all right, here we go, 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 there you go, you know? And I love that. Yeah, that melody is by far my favorite part of any Spyro-related soundtrack ever. That melody is, I encourage anybody who plays music here to learn how to play that melody. You can play that melody over any dominant chord. It sounds amazing, and it's really nicely syncopated. It's literally all just like fucking dotted quarters over the bar line, and it just tells a beautiful story. I love that melody. So for that, I'm gonna give Treetops, I'm gonna give it S tier. You have to have S tier. If it has that melody in it, it's S tier. I'm sorry. I don't make the rule. It's my tier list, and if it has that melody, it's S tier. That's how that goes. All right, next song. This is Wild Flight. This is the flight level in Beastmakers. In my opinion, this is probably the hardest flight level in the game. Now here we have that organ backbeat, but we actually have the snare this time. And you can really hear how different of a feel that is compared to when we were listening to Misty Bog earlier. Like, so here's Misty Bog. Now just listen to that organ in the background. And now there's no snare drum to go with that organ. So it does feel like forward pressing, but it doesn't have as much oomph to it compared to when we hear Wild Flight here. So in a way, that snare drum sort of drowns out the organ. They're both like competing for the same sonic space, the same energy, if you will. Of course, it's got the nostalgia keyboard. What did I call it? Yeah, it's the nostalgia keyboard. I'll give it a minute to simmer. It's pretty simple song. I love that the organ comes in like, like out of nowhere. I love that. It meant that hey, it's called Wild Flight. I'm sure they probably named these levels before Copeland made the music to them. And so he's thinking in his head, think about this as a composer. Copeland is like making this song, he's thinking in his head, man, I need to make this a little bit more wild, you know? Like, fucking put that organ right there. Like, I like that. You could feel his thought process, you know? All right, I'm gonna put this song in. I'm gonna say this isn't my favorite. I'm gonna put this in like C, maybe D. I'm gonna go D. I'm sorry to anybody who this is a good song. By the way, just again another disclaimer: if I put something in D or F or C tier, doesn't mean I don't like it. It just doesn't hit me the same way the other songs do. That's it. It's a great song. Love it. So here we are in Metalhead. I love that Copeland always goes for something a little foreboding for every boss level. Like compared to the rest of each level in a given homeworld, the boss level is always something a little different, a little subdued. It's like more of a stick, like a rim click than an actual snare drum on the backbeat. That never goes away. So Stuart Copeland is a big fan of what's called syncopation, where you're doing a rhythm that goes over the bar line, and that it takes that many measures, you could say, for that whole sequence to repeat. It's a very much a mathematical sequence. Ooh, I love when those little chimes come in. I love those little chimes. Those add such a cute flavor to it. I don't know. You know what? What a thing to add in. The little error back here. That. You hear that? Error. What is that? Error. What? I don't even know what it is about that, but that just sticks out to me. This is also another one of those like angular syncopated melodies that is hard to sort of like count out with, if you will. This is not like an easy melody to like just sing along to. It's all duplets. That is, it's all, you know, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. But just the way he's using the way he's using like the subdivision of the notes, it's got that real 16th offbeat sort of thing on the melody, which I love. This is a thing about drummers, is drummers love syncopation. Stuart Copeland is a drummer, and so in his melodies, he's making something that's not just like note-wise sounds good, but he's making something that's rhythmically interesting. Okay, and that's what's so cool about the melodies in Spyro, is that they're all as interesting as the notes are. They're even more interesting rhythmically. They're a whole thing to take apart rhythmically. I mean, look at where those notes end. But 1 E end up, 2 E end up, and then it goes on. It's like all like, whoa. We call that offbeat syncopation. It's really energizing stuff to rhythmically inject into a melody. He could have just did but he could have made that whole rhythmic aspect of that melody way simpler, but he chose not to, and it really helped that song, I think. Anyways, we're here at Metalhead. Let's see. I'm gonna give this a C. I'm giving it a C. It's really middle of the road for me. It has some really redeeming parts to it. I love the chimes in it, and I love the syncopation of the melody's rhythm. But besides that, it gets a C. This is all. Oh my God! You want to talk about slowing it down? Here's the alternate version. Oh my God. You know what? I don't want to say it. I think it's too slow, guys. I think it's too slow. I think Stuart Copeland was definitely smoking way too much weed on this one. This one is uncomfortably slow. Some of them you have to sort of adjust to the slowness, but you can dig it, you can figure it out. This one, it's just too slow. This one's an F tier. Yeah, it's just dragging along. This one hurts. This one kind of hurts to listen to. This one makes you want to hear the original, and that's not what an alternate track should do. All right, moving on. So now we're in the Dreamweaver's Homeworld. Think like, you know, sky and weird like upside down skyboxes and otherworldly sort of creatures getting shot by a cannon to become big. Those guys. I love, this song has a really good groove to it. Not a lot of songs in Spyro 1 have like this level of groove. Like I was just showing off Midday Gardens from Spyro 3 at the start of this, and I think this hits a lot of the same sort of real, like true funk feels. It's like you're in the homeworld and you're just jamming out. It's almost like a lot of the songs in this game are almost like too much, like emotionally to deal with, but this one, like when it comes with the guitar, it's like it's supposed to be like this big thing, but whatever. It's like you almost want that to not even be there. You just want to hear the. I love this bass line, by the way. And so I think really this song is like this is like the predecessor to what I think Stuart Copeland nailed with Midday Gardens and Midnight Mountain, for that matter. You know, you could really feel the progression of like the funky homeworld sort of theme there. I'll say this, the long extended, you know, distorted guitar, boom, boom, those don't super do it for me. They're good, they're not bad, but they don't super do it for me a lot of the time. I liked, there was a song earlier that had a really good mix, that it just barely used a little bit of that, you know, long distorted guitar, and it was really good. I forgot which song that was. I think it was, might have been Bog, I think. I don't remember. Anyways, so this is Dreamweaver's Homeworld. It is funky, and I like it, so I'm gonna put it in... You can almost hear all the notes in between the melody here. I love that. Another example of Stuart like really using as much like extracting as much rhythm out of a melody as possible. Put it in B tier. It's just for the bass line, just for the funky bass line. It gets B tier. All right, what's next? This is Dark Passage. Very spooky level. Dark level. Think turtles. Think the doggies that turn the devil dogs and the turtles that you can just never hit without them hitting you first. I almost want to hear the part underneath the melody a little bit more here. The you can like barely hear it. And then it's like, okay, the story gets. I don't like how the vibe kind of changes at that part. I wish it had stayed a little bit more like I wish it had kind of stayed in something of that nature a little bit more. Because now it's just a happy Spyro song, and I wish this level had something a little bit more deeper sonically going on there. You can still hear the in the background. They're still hiding, but it's like all happy now, and it's like no. This is like some spooky like nightmare level shit almost. It's really good layering though. It's just all building up instrument after instrument. Little interlude. I'm gonna skip forward. So like the part I was talking about earlier about that I wanted to hear come out more, I'm gonna go back to the beginning here. Wait for it. Listen closely right here. Do you guys hear that? Just the oo-doo-ee-doo. I just want more of that. That's what I wish this song was. Right here. And then it then hides away, you know? I that's the part of give me more of that. That's what I want from this song. I'm putting Dark Passage in D tier. It's not bad. It's not bad. It just isn't quite right for me. It's not bad. It's just not quite right. All right, guys. We're in Lofty Castle. Lofty Castle. Who's saying S tier in Lofty Castle? Who's saying it? Yeah, it could be a C. Dark Passage could have been a C. It's totally like seeable for sure. Everyone loves the Lofty Castle music. Now, I don't know if anyone has a link to it, but there's actually an original version of... I'm going to see if I can dig this up real quick. There's an original version of Lofty Castle. Lofty Castle original. Hopefully I didn't say anything suggestive there. Lofty Castle original. No, I don't think so. There's actually an original version of this song somewhere. Let me see. Does anyone know what that song is called? Stuart Copeland played it. Yeah, it's from like an old 90s movie. God, this song is so sick though. I think I might have it in my liked videos. Hold tight while I find this. I love it. It just opens up here. I love it. This is another one of those really like magical melodies that has a lot of huge intervallic jumps. This song jumps like thirds and sixths, just like the high caves and Treetops melodies do. And it really feels like almost like magic, kind of. Yeah, I don't have it. Yeah. Or maybe it's in the... Hold on, let me... I'm still checking. I'm still looking because I really want to show this to you guys. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you, Pamington. All right, here we go. See if this is the one. Is this it? No, this is wrong. This is something wrong. It's from Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer. Bill is dead. Here it is. Found it. All right, check this. I'm about to blow your mind. This is the original song that Lofty Castle is from. So this movie came out like years before Spyro existed, I think. You can almost hear it. You can hear it. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, this is like Chills. This is like the Chills version of Lofty. I'll go ahead and link this in the chat for you guys if you want to save it for later. Dude, and listen to that. Dark Hollow, anybody? Stuart Copeland wrote this. Apparently back in 96, I think Copeland made this, and Spyro 1 came out in 1998. There's more to that song, but yeah, that's basically that. Isn't that so cool? That is like so cool. So yeah, I gotta say, like Lofty Castle, with that full context now that it really is just like a cover of that, I don't want to place it like too high on the list because it's not really an original Spyro song at that point. But with that said, I mean, it is just a truly magical melody on the same tier as like Wizard Peak, pardon me, as Treetops and High Caves for a lot of the same reasons. It's just a really unique, beautiful, and magical melody. And it's not that it's not complex, it's not complicated, but it just yeah, it's really special. I'm gonna put this in I'll just put it in S tier. I'm just putting it in S tier, dude. Whatever. But yeah, hopefully that you guys learned a little something about Lofty today. Anyways, here comes the next song here. Okay, here's Haunted Towers. I love Haunted Towers. Dude, another great example of like just an awesome way to start a song. Like, you know, you can tell Stuart Copeland wanted the beat to be in this song, you know, from the get-go. But he gave it that couple of measures to start out, just to let it kind of... The keyboard. All right, now you're gaming, And it's so cool because you actually start this level like right in front of a wooden door. So it's kind of funny, like I think to a normal like casual player, you'd be like, where the fuck do I go? And by the time the beat kicks in, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. And then you go through the door and all the enemies come in and sit. Love the energy in this song. Very energetic song. And it really is fitting with the pace of the level. Even as a speedrunner, you know, you are really racing your way through this level. This is one of those levels you cannot drop any fucking time in. You are just fucking gunning from fucking moment to moment. And this song really brings that sort of like level, that execution out of you. You get the backbeat organ. And then it's something else. A nice like delineation of sections in the song as well. This is one of those melodies that'll get stuck in your head for sure. I've had this melody stuck in my head a lot. Really good melody. And the melody, that's something that like you don't really pay attention to, but that melody keeps going. You can hear it right now, but it's like now your ears shifted to the be-doo, be-doo-doo-doo. So they play off each other in a really cool way. In music theory terms, that's called like, it's a really, they work contrapuntally, you could say. No, that's not like technically the term, whatever. But they are like a counterpoint to one another. Anyways. Here's Haunted. I'm gonna, just because I really like the energy of this level, I'm gonna put it A tier. I do like Haunted Towers a lot. Yeah, or call and response is like another word for that. The song is also too short. Yeah, it is a pretty, you can tell it just ran out of 2.5 minutes. It feels like that loop should be long. I'm kind of with you on that. All right, next level. Icy Flight. This song, you know, like, think about it in the context of the rest of the homeworld. Every other song in this homeworld has been this, like, really epic thing, you know, or at least it turns into, like, a really epic thing with all the guitars and the organ and everything. This one is comparatively, like, quite simplistic, I would say, to the other songs in the Dreamweaver's homeworld. This is something I would expect to hear from, like, you know, a flight level, you know, like, earlier in the game. And for the final flight level, especially like Icy Flight, this song doesn't really hit the same sort of like icy, chilly feelings that Ice Cavern's music does. So thematically speaking, while I do feel like this song is appropriate in making you feel like you're in a time trial, it's not really super appropriate to the actual environment of the level and within the context of the other songs in this homeworld. That doesn't mean it's bad, just to clarify. It's just a critique. I like this part. Dun, 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 dun. I love that. I love that. Dun, 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 dun. Now the beat kicks in. How far are we? 1.5 minutes into it. Now we finally hear the snare drum. Love how this game continually makes you feel like the beat's there, and then it's like, no, actually, here's the beat. Yeah, we never really get to hear this part in the speedrun. That's the fun part about this video, is we get to actually like listen to these songs as much as we want. Yeah, I think my favorite part of this song is this, yeah. Oops. I just love this. Oh, this is just so exciting. This is like, just sends chills. A lot of low drums here. Oh, that's my favorite part of it right there. That's it. I love that. I can't even explain why I love that. Boom, bum, boom, bum, ba. It's almost like, all right, here we go, you know, dun, 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 dun. It's just, it brings a smile to my face to hear that. What level is that? Icy Flight. I'm going to put that in B tier as well, just because I really like that part of the song. Dun, 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 dun. Here's an alternate Icy Flight. I can guarantee you I probably never heard this one. Is this another one of those that's too slow? This is an F for you, see? Sultry Flight. Yeah, I should call this Sultry Flight. Yeah, these are hidden tracks that here. Yeah, it's just too slow. But well, I'm gonna give it a chance. Hear what's different about it. Down, down, down. I think that down, down, down. I think that fits in really well at this tempo. You can hear in the background. You can hear a keyboard in the background. I like that background keyboard. Fucking get that out of here. I just want to hear some of these more background elements. Yeah, if the song was all this, I would like it a lot more, frankly. Ooh, cool sound. He used like an acoustic, a MIDI acoustic guitar there, I think. That noise. All right, next song. That gets like a D or an F. Jock. Again, fitting in theme with the boss music being a little different, a little lower, a little bit more subdued than the other songs in the Homeworlds. Now it kicks in, but there's no beat yet. It's like kind of, you hear like a little tambourine, you know, but it's very subdued still. If you listen closer in the background, you can hear a lot of like warbling sort of organ sounds that I like in this song. Like, it's like it's really kind of curious. It's very subdued though. You can hear that. This actual melody, I'll say, doesn't really do a lot for me personally. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, for me, you know, consider my perspective. I've quite heard enough of boop boop ba 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 ba. I get it. It's like a reoccurring theme, but you know, let's like break the mold a little here, you know. But yeah, I like the warble, not just the bass line, but you can kind of hear some like organ kind of layered in there between the bass and the drums. Like there's some kind of organ happening, which that's like the most intriguing part to me. Yeah, this is where it starts to sound good. From the keyboard, such nice touches. Still going. Yeah, and that's the loop. Yeah, so this song feels like it feels like it's going somewhere, but it never quite gets there. That's what it feels like to me. And to me, the melody isn't really that inspired, you know. I mean, it's the title melody, you know. And this is like that same thing with some of the other songs I was saying, where I kind of want to hear some of these more subdued elements brought out a bit more, rather than just slapping a ding 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 over it. You know, this song is like they kind of killed the subduedness of it, I think, for me. I wish there was more of those elements brought out. So for Jock, I'm gonna give it a D. D or C. I could live with C. What do you? I'll put it on C just to make people less mad at me. I'm sure I mean, it's not bad. I know there are some Jock sympathizers here. It's not bad. Let's hear the alternate one. Never heard this one. Doesn't even sound like Jock at all. There it is. Oh, I like this. You know, this song does suffer from the same thing that a lot of the alternate tracks suffer from, where it's just a slowed down version of the same exact fucking thing. And at this speed, I like I don't like the do da 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 da. I don't like it at that speed, but I do like the actual late motif, if you will, the boop boop ba boop ba ba ba. It fits in a lot more groovy here, I think. The groove settles in really nice at this tempo. It's just I don't like the ding ding ding. Those work better on the faster tempo. So yeah, this track is a bit of a mixed bag for me. Nork Nexus, we're moving on here. That would have been like, I don't know, a C or D tier, I don't know. Well, so now this is the same as the Toasty music. So we already reviewed this, but now consider that we've heard every song in the game. We've played through like the game, and now we're at the final homeworld. So in that sense, it really takes on a different thing, you know. On the first time you hear it, it's in Toasty. It's like, okay, we finally made it to the first boss. And then the second time you hear it, it's in Nasty's homeworld. It's like, okay, we finally made it to the final area. It's like you kind of come at it with two different like experiences, which I think affects the overall like takeaway. I really don't mind that it's the same song in those two areas, because I think those are two of the best areas you could have put the same song. They're not nearby each other, but they both fit in really nicely. Yeah, it's the end of the beginning and then the beginning of the end. God damn, that's such bangers when it kicks in like that. It's just like whatever up until this point. Now it's just like... Fucking bangers, dude. Where did I put Toasty originally? Yeah, A tier. Toasty's definitely A tier. Down, 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 down. Alright, next song. Now you think, like, try to hear the enemies shooting the fucking guns at you here. Falling into the lava time and time again. There's so many lava pits to fall into here. Shooting the Dorito guns. Yeah, I like that word, industrial. And I think that's what this level is meant to be thematically. It's meant to have an industrial sort of look to it. A similar thing with a Metalhead. I think they both kind of hit like an interesting sort of, like a unique version of industrial. Like without it having to be like the sound of wrenches like clanging against a fucking, you know, machine or whatever. Another one of those songs that I think has that backbeat, but it's like a weird like click sound for the backbeat. There's those electric guitars. I love again, it's, you know, I love any song that uses the nostalgia keyboard, and this song has a lot of that. A lot of callbacks to other songs. I think this is one of those songs that kind of fuses a few different melodies into one. And I love that bass line. When you sing that bass line by itself, it reminds me of this song. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. It's the same bass line. Alright, okay, I'm gonna not play that anymore. I might get copyrighted. But yeah, it's the same song. Thank you for letting me be myself again. Right? It's the same bass line. Did I just blow anybody's mind there? It's the same bass line. Alright, anyways. That's Twilight Harbor. We're gonna put that in God, you know, I'm gonna put it in C tier, to be honest. The music wise, I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's very middle of the way for me. Yeah, hopefully I don't get copyrighted for playing Sly and the Family Stone. for 9 seconds. I made sure I paused right at the 9-second point, so hopefully I'm good. Okay, what's next here? Nasty Nork. This is the final boss level here, and again, you're coming in and you hear all these like using all the orchestral samples. Ton of organ. This is good final boss music. I like this. You hear Nasty in the background. Oh, doing, like shooting the thing at you. I like how the bass line. And then no bass. I love that it goes bass to no bass. I like that. And now it's like fully in there. Just this is like the real organ here, you know, the evil final boss organ music, like that trope is definitely here. I like how he actually slid that down. That probably was not an easy thing to do in his 1998 sequencer. I skipped Nexus. No, I didn't. It's the same music as Toasty, which we listened to it. Oh, we'll see. We'll go to Cove. Don't worry. We'll get to Cove. I'm just going in the order of this thing here. We'll get to Cove. Yeah, where is Cove anyways? Should be on this. Nork Nexus, Twilight Harbor, Misty's Ridge, end credits. Yeah, that's weird. The Nork Cove isn't on this soundtrack. But yeah, to cap it off with Nasty Nork, I think the music is appropriate. I do like it. It's got that fucking final boss, like, organ, you know? Like, here we go, this is it, kind of organ music. I like that. So I'm gonna go with, on this, but, you know, with that said, it's not that crazy. I'm gonna give it like, I'm gonna give it a C. I'll give this one a C. This is right in the middle for me. Let me look up Cove real quick, because Cove does not exist on that particular playlist. Nork Cove Spyro. Now, keep in mind, we're listening to the version of the soundtrack that has the crazy reverb on it. If you look up the Spyro soundtrack on YouTube, there's a lot of videos that have like a lot of reverb added to them for some reason. So you can kind of hear that here. Love the keyboard there. Ding, ding. Hear those little dings in the background? God, I mean, the sounds are just like, they're just right. These sounds are like kind of what these MIDI instruments are meant to create, is like this sound. I really like this. I just love the way the instruments interact with each other. Every instrument, unlike in other songs, I think every instrument in this song has its own room to shine. Every instrument gets its space to shine in this song. You hear these like low, you know, you hear like the low end. Maybe with the exception of the percussion, but really with the keyboard and organ, they really shine in their right spots here. I love that keyboard. Very syncopated line. And I never heard that, the high-pitched dings. You hear those? Isn't that cool? I never noticed that. Dude, the beat is super weird in this song. But it works. I love that. Skip forward. Yeah. I like Nork Cove. The music-wise, just music-wise on its own, I really like Nork Cove. I'm gonna put this in A tier. I'm just gonna do it. I think the instruments really shine appropriately in that level, and that's definitely a song that you could listen to on your own and be like, yeah, that is like a classic, you know. I'm gonna put Cove in A tier. It could go B tier or C even. But I like it. You know, just hearing it on its own is a much different experience than hearing it in the game. And on its own, I quite like it more than when I played in the game, which is not the case with really any other song in this game, actually. Okay, now we're getting towards the end here. Let's go to, we've already beat Nasty Nork at this point. Let's go to Nasty's loot. You 100%ed the game, you got everything you needed, and now here you are going to the final level, bright lime green skybox. You can fucking fly. You're hyping. You're on world record pace. This is the best song to have as a bonus level. Yeah, fucking jam. It's like, yeah, here we go. We did it. Like, we're going. It's going. This is all bonus points. I love that sound. God, I fucking love that. This is triplet subdivision. Keep that in mind. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So keep that in mind when you hear the melody coming up here. Fucking love that. That's my favorite. That makes it really feel like you're like seeing the light. Again, triplets here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now hear this melody coming up here. It nails a sextuplet vibe, but with accents on every 2 notes. So it's cool, by putting accents on every 2 notes, it makes it feel really syncopated because the beat is divided into 3 because it's triplets. Yeah, this song is fucking great. This song is an S tier for me. Alright guys, and that's it. That's the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. I mean, I actually learned a lot about the music from Spyro just by doing this video. I heard a lot of things in some of these songs that you don't normally hear. You know, I'm playing on like this old school TV over here, so I don't really hear a lot of like the nuanced little things in the background that are definitely there in this soundtrack. Oh, credits! Yeah. I almost forgot about the credits. I guess they're not there, but here, we'll listen to the end credits. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I hope you guys fucking enjoyed this video. This has been a big blast to make. And of course, you know what? This is S tier. I don't even gotta hear it. I know it's S tier. They wouldn't have put it as the end credits for all 3 games if it wasn't S tier. And it's that keyboard, guys. It's that fucking keyboard. The nostalgia boner keyboard. Penis, 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 oh, penis, 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 oh. Thank you, Gulp Skip. Yeah, that was from the song, by the way. Great timing. Yeah, this is a classic. This is like the best credits music. I love it. I don't really have much to say about it, except the keyboard really just makes me feel like a kid again. Hearing the credits makes you feel like a kid again. And yeah, that was the Spyro music tier list, at least from Spyro 1. If you guys want to see me break down Spyro 2 and 3's music, I could definitely do that. Just let me know in the comments down below. Say hi, YouTube. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay beautiful, stay sexy, keep loving yourself, and keep enjoying bangers from your favorite video game. Cheers.